But I've seen you post about that a lot, though, about like what were you doing before all this came about? Like everybody is streaming. Yeah, everybody.
You are learning our worth, and y'all are scared. So scared that the last thing y'all could do is put in law.
On mute, but I was holding still because my face always tells a whole story, so I was trying to act like I was frozen, but I'm really not. Okay, so yes.
Welcome back to another episode of Besties Building Brands podcast. We have a special guest to our show today, Miss Cortesia Oxford. She's been on the show before. She's one of my Facebook besties. She is the branding architect, the branding doctor, and she's had so many successes over the years. She started out designing for funeral programs, and she's grown so much since then. So I want to bring her on, let her do a brief intro, and then we'll get into it. We'll talk about some branding, get you guys some tips to grow your business, and let you know how you can work with her. Let's bring her on. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hello.
Hello, friend to the show.
Here.
So yeah, like I was telling everybody that you've been on the show before, but I do still want you to do a brief intro about who you are and what you're doing right now, and like what your mission is for your business.
Well, I am Cortesia. It feels strange when people say the branding architect, but yes, I love everything about branding, and I've been able to niche down and focus on building people's online presence organically, teaching people how to do content funnels and taking their branding experience from free platforms all the way to developing, organic search on their websites and things of that sort. So I am happy to be here, and let's go.
Okay, so like I said, you were on the show before. You actually did some classes for us. We went over brand color, and that was really dope. And I just love to see our guests how they just progress through. Usually, people come on our show and it's like one of the first podcasts that they've been on. So we like to bring them back because now you look a year later and they're out here killing it. So don't be shy. Let people know what you've done. Last time we kind of talked about your time on Clubhouse and how that helped to catapult your business. So what you said you niched down. So tell us about what you niched down to and what's happened since you've been on Clubhouse. Like how has your business grown and changed and developed?
Well, it's grown a lot. I was able to work less and make more money, which is the best thing ever, simply because I was so used to, I looked at my numbers from previous years and I was taking like 200 clients, making like $4,000 or $5,000. That was ghetto at best. And then going through, and now I only took 60 people and I made 30,000. Right. And now I'm able to, I have people that have me on retainer, and I didn't go looking for these people. It was people that messaged me and they're like, I've been saving up to work with you. And sometimes it feels strange because I'm like, me? Like me out of all people. But I was strategic, and because I went and I got a coach, I was able to help her brand her first event and make that event increase to making $60,000 in its first year. I have been able to help her make $100K in her business. And I just designed a poster for Macy's for her brand that's going to be featured in Macy's.
Nice.
They're doing it's for Black History Month, where she's going to do a talk there. I will also be branding events in Washington, D.C. next week. I'm going for a Barter Black event, and I'm being honored as one of the sponsors and designers for the event.
Nice.
And I'm living a life that I never thought I could have, and I'm happy.
I'm happy for you, girl. That sounds dope. First of all, just the progression and all the things you got going on. I love it. You said you talked about growing businesses organically and how you helped her grow her business. Um, I do want to talk about like kind of some strategies to do that. But before we do that, I do just want you to just encourage the audience to let them know that it's not like you had a magic wand or some special secret sauce to make this happen. You kind of believed in yourself, networked with the right people, to make it happen. And I say it all the time, so I would like for you to just give your little piece or comment on that, just to let people know that it can happen for anybody.
It can't happen for anybody. And the reality is that in order for you to go up in certain levels, what I've learned from dealing with all these people is sometimes you got to make an investment of either time and money, time or money.
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter who you with, you got to either barter with them, you got to show some kind of value to them, because the way that I've been able to network in these spaces is that I'm opening my mouth and talking to people. A lot of people get on Clubhouse and they stay down at the bottom. And I'm like, why are you at the bottom? We don't know you. I'm not going to, it's hard enough running a room on Clubhouse on the stage. You got to talk to people, make sure nobody banish your room, or being on Instagram and all you do is like my post. You know what I'm saying? You have to actually show up if you want me to actually participate with you. So yes, you can do it. Don't get out there. One of the hardest things for people as creators and as business owners is that we have so many freaking ideas. We have so many amazing ideas, and we get so caught up in, okay, I started this, let me do this, and we want to do all of these things at once. Focus on that one specific thing. Bring it up to $1 million. Once you bring it up to $1 million, you can go from there, and start investing in other stuff. But you can do it. And this is another thing I found out, is that a lot of people post their receipts and those receipts are fake. So don't fall for the glam of what somebody's showing you and following them. And also don't believe that you know it all. I ran into issues where I was like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing entrepreneurship. I had no freaking clue what I was really doing. If I knew what I was doing, I would have already been a millionaire.
Mm-hmm. Somebody made a comment the other day on Facebook about how people see the glitz and the glam. They see the people driving the Teslas and taking all the pictures. One, it's fake most of the time, and then two, are you trying to be that person, or are you trying to attain the things that they have? Like, what's your real goal? A lot of times people get caught up in that, and that's why they're constantly buying course after course, ebook after ebook, never really putting in the work, because they're just trying to be that person. They're not trying to put the work in to actually make it happen for themselves. So tell us a little bit about Clubhouse. I think like you said, it's important to speak up. I know for me personally, and anybody else that's watching or listening, sometimes if you're an introvert, or if you have, like you said, that feeling of, wow, me, you may feel intimidated to speak up, especially because you have a lot of people posing in the room saying that they're doing things that they're really not. So do you have any Clubhouse tips that you can give outside of just speaking up? Is there like a way that they could, what is it, like their profile, to optimize their profile so that, they can get the people that are looking for them, so they don't actually have to go out and actively find them? And then you can go right into like any organic tips or strategies to grow a business.
So if you're an introvert, I understand that, it's hard getting up to speak. It's hard sometimes. I'm an extrovert introvert.
Ambivert.
I love, I'm this vibrant personality, but I get drained easily when I'm around too much. Like I just be like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to do it. But it's either, am I going to let people know about my business, or am I going to be broke?
Yeah.
Those are your options. So when it comes to, just having organic search, I've had people by going in my bio and I'm talking about the transformation I provide. Everybody wants to talk about, I do this, I do that. Talk about your transformation. If you talk about your results, people are more prone to come to you. Don't get caught up in these clickbait things, people saying certain words and stuff like that. It does nothing. Talk about your transformation in your bio. Don't, even though they give you unlimited characters, don't use all them characters. Don't nobody care about all of that. Nobody's reading your resume on Clubhouse. Be potent, be accurate. Use those first 2 to 3 lines on there to bring them into what you have going on. Most people won't bring you on stage unless you have a bio. So just talk about, what you do, who you help, and the transformation, and make it personal to that person. Use emojis, because emojis are special on there. You can add your hobbies. They've expounded it now where you can add all these different things on there. And then make sure at the bottom, it's nothing worse when I'm hosting a room and I'm trying to go to somebody's, they talking about their business, your Instagram ain't connected, your Twitter ain't connected. You just got a text link that's saying go to my website. I'm not gonna do it. Customers are lazy. And I'm one of those people. If there's the ability for you to add a link, add a link. And then when you host a room, they now have the ability. First of all, you never know who's gonna bless you, so go ahead and add your Stripe account to your Clubhouse. I made like $500 in a room. People was just donating, just tipping.
Because you was giving value, and they felt like, wow.
Yeah. They would have to pay my regular rate if I wouldn't have been in the room, right? So they was tipping $500. You want to make sure you connect that. You also want to make sure that you know what your end goal is when you're going in these rooms, and not just speaking from a hosting room perspective, but also speaking from the perspective of going in these rooms. People go in these rooms, they be like, oh, Grant Cardone having a room, or this person having a room, and they're talking about how to make $1 million. Have you figured out how to make money every day first? Have you figured out how to make $1,000 in a week? Have you know what I'm saying? Have you figured out the small tasks before you jump into a room that's saying how to make $1 million in 90 days? Like everybody's falling for that clickbait because they want to skip all of the little things that you have to go through in entrepreneurship. They want to skip over the hard shit. You can't skip over. I'm sorry for cursing, but you can't skip over the hard stuff. And what I found out is that success, when you reach one level, it gives you a little bit of anxiety because you wonder, am I going to be able to keep performing at this level? And then as you overcome the anxiety, you got to start implementing more things to be able to serve people at a higher level. I got a lady who has $1 million creative agency coming to me. And when she coming to me, I'm like, why would you come to me? I had to go talk to somebody. I was like, listen, she want to talk to me. She said she want me to rebrand her. She makes millions. Why does she want me? But I had to literally deal with that within myself and say, I'm amazing. I'm good. I have to talk to myself. I have to, do these mindset shifts all the time, because as you go up and higher, whether you're on Clubhouse, Twitter, Instagram, you got to be able to, deal with your anxiety, talk to yourself positively, and elevate yourself to be able to deal with, your own fear of success.
So what exactly is branding for the people that don't know? Like, what's the difference between branding and, marketing your business, for example?
Okay, so branding is all of the things that leave a memory for people in your business. So when people think about me, they remember, oh, she's the brand architect. They remember my colors, my orangish red color, my yellow, they remember those about me. That's ingrained in their head, right? Marketing is the actual action of going out to get the sales that respond to your branding. Your branding can be your logos, just your slogan. It attracts that ideal customer. So like when you're dating somebody and you go on that first date and they sit up there, they got the suit on, they all dressed up. A lot of people fall for the branding first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when they open their mouth, can they market themselves to you? Can they sell themselves as a person? I know dating in Atlanta is treacherous. It's treacherous.
I
A lot
hear.
of these dudes, they can brand themselves. They look real nice. But then
Yeah.
they open their mouth and I'm like, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do we have to talk about? We have nothing. So I look at it like that.
Because people say a lot of times, like, you don't necessarily need the logo or the website or all those things to be successful or to even start your business. Those things will come. You can always rebrand. Just go ahead and start. That's why I just wanted to make sure that people were clear on what the difference was for that. And then, so outside of Clubhouse, like, what are some tips or strategies that people can use who maybe are just starting out and they can't do like maybe a paid ad or anything like that to generate some growth? Not necessarily, I'm not big on like followers, but just to get more like traffic to their website, and things like that. I know for me, in my business, I'm getting ready to make a change for like my actual strategy and the platforms that I'm using. For some personal reasons, I'm pro black for my people, and I'm just tired of what I'm seeing on the Instagrams and the TikToks and things like that. So I'm kind of changing things. But for the people that are still, Facebook heavy, the algorithm is against them a lot, and Instagram, TikTok, things like that. Like, what are some organic strategies that they could use to still get paid? Not necessarily grow followers, but to get sales. You know what I mean?
Well, you need to know your customer first. Who are you talking to? But a bunch of people jump out here and they don't even know where their customer is. So you're on Instagram and your actual customer may be on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're just jumping out here because somebody said, oh, you can make $1 million on Instagram, but you struggling. And then you post only your inventory or you only post what you have. You're not posting your value, how you benefit, and like in markets that people consider saturated, like clothing and hair and things like that, branding is very, very important. Like if I see hot pink, if I see hot pink in somebody's branding, you look like everybody else in the beauty industry. A lot of beauty industry people use hot pink. You fall in love. So when you have to brand yourself out of saturation, you got to go pick colors that mean something and go over the psychology of that with your ideal customer. So knowing your ideal customer will help you go into the color psychology to be able to pick and say, okay, this person, the words I use to describe this customer might be creative. So I'm going to add a form of yellow.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. I do want to come on and let you guys know that you can save on any products or service from our guest today using code BESTIE, BESTIE. She has a brand workbook, a brand Bible. She does graphic design, so make sure you take advantage of that discount. We also offer social media management services, scheduling services, and virtual assistant services. So make sure you sign up for that at bestiesbusiness.org.
To my branding, because yellow is the word is creative, right? Passion is red. I want to look at forms of red, and you can go to Adobe Color and look at that overall look at different color palettes and see what speaks to you and your customer, right? I went through and don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail, because when I first started on Instagram, my colors were gold and green. Didn't work. Then I went to like a pink, orange, and something else. Didn't work. But the colors I have now, people actually stop the scroll for those colors. So your goal on any platform is to stop the scroll, because it's a bunch of stuff that flows and flows, but you want to be able to tell people, okay, listen, I need you to stop. I need you to chill. I need you to, just stop and read this. And then you want to use hierarchy. So hierarchy is basically when you're doing text on the page, you want to make sure whatever is most important to you on on that item page or whatever, that you highlight, either making it bigger, changing the color, or something to make it more important. And then lastly, I will say respect the platform. It's nothing worse than me seeing something on your Instagram and then or on your Facebook, and then when I go to another platform, it's cut off.
Yeah.
Like you designed it this way, but it's supposed to be, square in order to fit the platform. You have to make sure you understand that, these people that have millions of followers, they don't care. They're basing it off of their popularity. By you respecting the platform, those first 6 squares on your Instagram are the most important. On Facebook, what's most important is literally creating long form content, talking to people, having conversations, creating connections on Facebook actually helps. This preacher, one of the guys I work with, he calls the entanglement coach. He said this yesterday. He stated that transparency creates transformation. So a part of the process, you can't be afraid to be transparent with the process that you're going through on these platforms as you generate content specifically for that platform. So on YouTube, you may get something that's like 20-30 minutes, you may get an hour, something like that. Facebook Watch, you may get something that's that long, right? On Instagram, their attention span is 2 minutes, if that. You can't sit up there and say, oh, nobody's paying attention to my content. I put a 58-second video up of 50 Cent saying something, and about when he was working, he wasn't making no money, but when he stopped working, he was making money. I looked at how far people got in the video. They got like 10 seconds. In 58 seconds, they only got like 10, maybe 15 seconds.
Yeah, because when you go to YouTube, you expect to be on there to watch a video. You know what I mean? Like when you're on Instagram, you want to kind of be able to go fast. Yeah, so that makes sense. I had a question about what you said about value. I hear it all the time. Know your audience, provide value. People give those tips out all the time. They're always so generic and they're never in depth. I know target audience is a lot to go into, so I'm not even going to ask you that. They can hook up with you afterwards. I'll make sure that you guys have a besties code so you can get her services. But I do want to ask you about value. Can you give like a real life example of what that means instead of just the, provide your audience value? Like, what does that mean? Like for your business, for example, if you were providing a quick post, let's say an Instagram post that was providing value, what would something like that look like?
Okay, so with over general content, I broke values up into like acronym. So when I'm creating, the V is for celebrating their victories. As a coach or a consultant, or even as an e-commerce business, you want to celebrate people's wins. This girl sent me a package of like skincare lotion. I'm celebrating the fact that my son's skin doesn't itch anymore when I'm sending her the video and content and things like that. So she has, number one, social proof that it actually works. Number two, people can see, oh, people are actually using her stuff and it actually works. So you have to celebrate the victories, celebrate the wins, right? Then you want to acknowledge the problem. When you're going through and creating these captions, the one thing that people don't do is that they don't acknowledge the problem. They don't acknowledge that my product, my service, my thing solves this problem. And how do you identify the problem? You have to first know your customer, and it's the thing that's keeping them up at night and preventing them from moving forward. Like I found out that a lot of doctors, they don't want to hire a marketing team for some reason or another, right? They stay up on YouTube for like 8+ hours trying to figure out their marketing, trying to figure out social media, trying to figure these things out.
Yeah, that's great.
They're the person who I'm pitching to this year. I'm talking to doctors and lawyers who don't know what they're doing. That's what I'm talking to. Because I know that you're going to be up in the middle of the night. And this is a little tip that I did learn. Between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m., people are up scrolling because they are either bored or in pain. So if you acknowledge the problem and you're able to make posts organically during that time period with the proper hashtag strategy and the right acknowledgement of their problem,
Mm-hmm.
you're winning customers. L is for leveraging your product and or service for you as the change agent or authority. So a lot of people aren't comfortable with saying I'm an expert or whatever. You got to be the expert. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be the expert in this industry for people to know you, trust you, and then they like you. I know people like to say no, like, trust, but people want to know you, then they want to trust you, then
Mm-hmm.
they want to that like that's how I've noticed that like we used to be like no, like, and trust. Honestly, if I get the first two where you know me and you trust me, you ain't gotta like me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like me as but when the transformation comes, I want to see those results. I want a video testimonial, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to leverage yourself as the expert and make sure that in your post or in your caption that whatever problem they have, after you acknowledge the problem, you're going through and saying, my product can solve this issue, right? And don't feel like a lot of people are like, okay, I'm giving up too much. I give too much, whatever. The way you know when you're not giving too much is that people will still ask you questions. I literally have posts where people are still asking me questions. Number one, it adds to my engagement. Number two, it lets me know I ain't give you everything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give you everything. And you're never gonna, if you're a person that's a creative or a thinker, you're never gonna run out of things. Our issue, and Chris Doe says this, is that we want to be it. We have an advice monster within us, and when we give out advice, we feel that immediate sense of relief, like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
feel so much better because I'm giving advice. Don't give advice. Don't give advice. Just acknowledge their problem and use your product or leverage your problem as a solution. Then you want to understand any objections. Somebody may come to you and say, I don't want to, like, somebody might be like, I don't understand why I need to pay for this part of my website. Or somebody may come to you and say, I don't understand why I have to pay for this part. The reason why you have to pay for this is because this is the outcome. And how you understand the objections is you do the research. And if you've ever done any discovery calls with people or talked to people, or you've been on the other side of a discovery call, you know what people are going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta go talk to my spouse, or I gotta talk to my business partner. You don't have a business partner, it's just you. We know this. So we know this. So you just have to understand the objections and then be able to come up with solutions. What I have learned is that creating a like a capabilities deck. I learned that from Chris Doe, like at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Creating a capabilities deck and just letting people just understand this is what I'm capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times we waste time creating proposals for people who aren't our ideal customer. And why would I create a proposal for you and put these numbers in front of you when that's going to run you away, rather than you understanding what I'm capable of and me communicating the overall transformation that I can provide to you in your business based on what I've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to make sure you educate, which is E. So you want to educate them on why this is important. You want to educate them on why your product is important, why it's a creation. Education gets me a whole lot further with people, and you can't be afraid to repurpose the education. What I've learned is that I last year on Instagram, I was telling people, oh, change your Instagram size to 1080 by 1350. Some people saw it, some people didn't. Some people paid attention, some people didn't. I literally had a lady who I know has been on my friends list on Instagram since last year. And when I repurposed that content into a reel, she was like, what? Don't use the Instagram size. They changed it. Same content. I used it last year. And when I say I used it last year, I used it last year. the the difference is that a lot of people are always looking for different content ideas, but literally if you change maybe some text on an old post and reuse that post, you either gain followers since the last time you posted that, or it's so far down, nobody's going to look for it. So
Mhm.
just redo that content. And then lastly, sign off with a call to action. This is, I'll say 90% of the time, people don't use a call to action. You sign off with a call to action because people need to know what you want them to do. You can't
Mhm.
tell me that, oh, here's our new inventory that we just received.
Okay.
What do you want me to do? Do you want me to shop with you? Do you want me, you know what I'm saying? Like you aren't even creating something that's going to cause a conversation to talk back to you.
Mhm. That was good. Thank you for that. I hope people were taking notes and writing this stuff down. I was actually going to ask your opinion on something too. You mentioned about giving out advice or information. Some people, well, in the hair world, there's a debate that people are giving out too much information for free. So you're giving up all your information, and then people won't come to you and buy from you. Um, like, what's your take on that? I feel like it's not necessarily true. Like, regardless, because like, as you can see, there's a zillion videos on YouTube where people can learn this stuff, and they still ask questions, and they still hire people. Like, they hire me to do their social media. I have people who I just schedule their posts. Like, they have the content, and I just schedule it, and that's something that they can easily learn themselves. So I don't necessarily feel like that's a negative thing, but I just wanted to hear your opinion on it.
I don't feel like it's a negative thing either, because you have to if you, this man posted on Twitter yesterday, he was like, oh, if it's something I don't know, I can go figure it out. Who has that kind of time on all the type of stuff that we have coming in, right? I'm going to delegate it if I don't know it, or find somebody that can so they can do it, right? If you are a person that's an expert in your industry, there is a point of time versus money. Now, when I first got on Clubhouse, I would be on Clubhouse like 8 hours, or probably longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just pouring. Then people would come in my inbox and try to ask even more questions. I don't believe that you can give out too much information, because there are always going to be people that are going to want to reach so you can do it for them. There are different levels of people that you have, like the DIY people who are going to go through and they're actually going to do the thing. Only 3% of people actually complete courses and books. 3%.
Mm-hmm.
So your DIY percentage, even though you may get $1 million of people that are buying these things, only 3% of those people are actually going to complete it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then you have your done with you people, where they're going to want to learn with you. That's when you have your coaching programs and things like that. I know people are like, oh, coaching program in hair, in beauty, in makeup. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there were more coaches in beauty and hair,
Mm-hmm.
because the books need to come back and teach these young ones how to get out here, and they don't have to be behind a chair their whole life.
I was thinking about doing something like that, trying to create a program, especially with this the NFTs. This guy that was kind of coaching me with the NFTs, he was like, "I'm telling you, you need to do a program and make it an NFT." So I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Um, like you said, a lot of the new stylists either they don't even have a license, or they come out of hair school, and hair school doesn't really teach you anything but the bare bones, the basics. So um, yeah, that's definitely good right there. You might have given me an idea. I don't know. We'll see. Um,
You need to jump, and the thing is that a lot of people in the beauty industry will utilize glitz and glam to cover up their lack of knowledge, and they're not willing to make the investment to increase their knowledge. They think that all I got to do is do somebody's hair for $50, but you got to think long term. I remember this girl, she's a crafter, and I did my daughter's shirts for her birthday. I did iron on shirts. Let me see if I think I got one of the shirts right here. Yeah. I ironed on a unicorn on everybody's shirt. Did a little unicorn, ironed on the unicorn birthday. I said I will never do a shirt for under $25.
I
I
know
would
that's
never do a
right.
shirt for under $25. And this girl commented and she was like, "Why? I only charge $10." I said, "Okay, let's do the math. Let's do the math. You doing $10 a shirt and you probably profiting what, $2-3? By profiting those $2-3, then how many shirts do you have to do to reach $10,000 a month?
First
How
of
many
all,
shirts?
it's
How many
it's
shirts you gotta do?
it's ridiculous. Like $10. That's ridiculous because I have the heat press and Cricut myself, and that's how I know that I don't want to do it at any price. Like you got to give me like I need like $80 for me to even do it because I don't want to do it, and it's time consuming and it's annoying. And then you did it, and then you thought that you had the vinyl on the right way, but it really wasn't, and then you got to go. Not my lane, not my zone. That's one of those time versus money thing. I would just pay somebody to do it. Like seriously, like I'm not. Ain't no way.
I, and you can see that the shirt ain't no big detail. It's just got a unicorn up here on one side, and I
Yeah.
still wouldn't do it for less than 25.
But
I
you, first of all, if you look at these brands, the Gucci's and the Milanos, they ain't doing this. A basic ass vinyl, boom, heat press, and they got something on the shirt, and it's about celebrity and fame, and people buy it just because of that. It didn't really have nothing to do with how cute something is or fashionable it is. Like you said, it's the glitz and glam. You got pink and some diamonds, and you got a million followers, and people won't get it. And it could be horrible.
There's a
So yeah.
girl right now. She has a clothing brand, and this is another thing that people go into. They looking at these famous people coming out here starting these brands, and I know who marketed her business.
Mm-hmm.
The person didn't make sure that the girl had quality assurance. She didn't make sure that her story made sense. Like if you look at her story on her website, the girl is running around aimlessly and then rolling a blunt, looking in the mirror, and I'm like, what does this have to do with your merchandise? But she knows who she's marketing to. She's marketing to some people who are as unknowledgeable about marketing and messaging as her. She's marketing to women, black women that smoke weed, that have kids, that randomly get dressed and stand in the mirror for no reason. And you don't have to have any alignment with what it is. And that
Yeah.
comes the importance of knowing who your customer is. Like how do you build the lifetime of your customer? You grow with that customer. You grow with what their needs are. The needs that they had at 20 are different than the needs they have at 40 with kids and a husband. And it's the needs are different. So you have to grow with them. And if you started off, okay, I'm just doing hair, and then when the pandemic came, you couldn't make money, you didn't think about, okay, let me do virtual consultations.
Yeah.
Let me make a partnership with a hair company and mail my customers out boxes of products and let them know this is a subscription based thing so I can make money. You
Yeah.
know, it didn't it I love the beauty industry. I love it. I used to work for Talia Wajid at her hair shows, but a lot of those people there only know how to do hair. They don't
Mm-hmm.
understand the business of beauty and why people like Talia Wajid are able to actually come from behind the chair and be
Mm-hmm.
a millionaire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. So tell us about the brand Bible. I was excited when you were telling me about it a little bit when we were texting the other day. So tell us about the brand Bible. What's in there? Tell us about your course that you have.
So I I'm gonna start with the course first. So the course, I developed a course platform called the Content Struggle Bus. On the Content Struggle Bus, I break down different topics starting from how to research your brand name. A lot of people are literally coming up with brand names that are already taken by people, and you're starting your business off to be sued or to be taken from you because you haven't done the research. And like there's a brand name called Kiss My Bundles. Kiss My Bundles is a brand of hair. But if you look on Instagram, it's got a Kiss My Bundles one. It's got an underscore Kiss My Bundles. It's got a Kiss My Bundles underscore. No, it's got a Kiss underscore My Bundles. and you believe that just by going and registering your LLC in your state makes it yours. It doesn't. That person has every right to come to you and tell you to do a cease and desist letter because they actually own Kiss My Bundles, the actual word mark. And I have a class on there that you can actually, if you go to thecontentstrugglebus.com, you can join and take that class for free, where you can learn how to go to the USPTO .gov website and look for your brand name. And you want to make sure when you're going through there that you're actually able to say, okay, well, what is in a name? You want to make sure the name is memorable. You want to make sure people can, it causes a feeling for them when they say it. Like when people say, the branding architect, people love saying that. Like when they get on stage, you cannot not smile and say I've never had somebody mundanely say my brand name, because my energy is like reciprocated over that. So I took out, when I created the Content Struggle Bus last year, was to help people create content, understand how to use Canva, understand branding, and all of that is in there so they can do that. When I created the brand Bible, I figured out that the process that I go through behind the scenes, that I charge $3,000+ for, some people out there that can't afford that. They need the ability to jump in and get a win and understand their customer and understand the process and create positioning for them. Because a lot of people either aren't asking the right questions or they're not asking enough questions to be able to find their ideal customer. Thus, the Brand Bible was born, where I'm able to literally take every question I'm asking, put it in this book, you go through and you fill it out, and then you're able to say, dang, this is my customer. This is who I'm talking to. This is their favorite color. And people are like, why would I need to, how am I going to find out their favorite color? Because you're going to go through, you're going to spend time researching. A lot of people want to jump out here and be in business. I have a lady right now who's been in my inbox. She's in debt $283,000. And she's about to close. If she doesn't get herself together, she's gonna have to close her physical location. But she doesn't know her customer, and she's getting large. She got she gets large chargebacks. People will go on her site and purchase items for like $1,500. She ship them out, and she get a major chargeback for $1,500. Why is that? Because she did not define who she's dealing with. The people that she's marketing to are people that are bottom feeders. You cannot, and this is nothing against anybody, but it's certain people you can't market to and not walk in with the idea of, I'm going to get a chargeback. You're going to get a chargeback.
Yeah.
You have to know that. And you're not going to be able to, it's something you have to plan for, kind of sort of with chargebacks. But $1,500 on any small business on a chargeback.
But like you said, you gotta know who you're talking to.
Exactly. You got to know who you're talking to. So if your items in there, it has a piece in there where you go over, okay, this is my offer. How am I planning my offer out? You get to know how you're planning your offer out to this specific clientele, and be able to work from there. I am coming out with a volume 2, which is going to go into the content strategy to go along with it. And it's called Make Your Content Your Bitch. So
okay. I know, that's right. I like that.
Yes, make your content your bitch, and it's going to be show you how to go through and go from, okay, I know my customer, this is where they at, then this is the content that I create, because that's the issue a lot of people are having. You don't know your person.
Yeah. So can they get to all these things from your website?
Yes. Okay. Go directly to my website, thebrandingarchitect.co, and you will see the branding Bible on there. You will also see my services on there. I accept Sezzle and I accept ShopPay.
That's right. Get all the coins.
Yes, and this is a side note, and I believe this wholeheartedly. If you have a website and you are not using a Sezzle or Afterpay, and you don't have like at least all of the options on there, you missing out.
Mm-hmm.
Some people only want to pay in PayPal. If you don't have PayPal as an option, I know PayPal be holding people money, but listen, if somebody want to pay via PayPal, make that available for them. If they want to pay via Shop Pay, make it available for them. Sezzle, any Klarna, whatever you want to use, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
If it takes having 8 different payment options, you're gonna see all 8 of them on there.
No, that's
Some
right.
somebody said they said, you know what that lady said? She said, if there is a Klarna at your checkout, I'm gonna use it, even if I got the money.
I know that's right. That is too funny. Well, this was a great conversation. Make sure you go to thebrandingarchitect.co and grab your materials, your branding Bible, sign up for the class, and make sure you use code BESTIE, BESTIE, to get a discount. And yeah, hit her up on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you subscribe on our website. We're going to be moving all of our shows and podcasts to the website. We're trying to build out a true blue media company that's about the people, that's not censored. So check us out. Thanks for the support. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Don't leave yet. Bye.